Captain Tahoe of the Galactic Confederation patrol vessel Vigilant Observer stared at the sensor readings with disbelief. The anomalous signal pulsed steadily at the edge of the Arcturus sector, matching no known signature in the Confederation database. "Run the scan again, Officer Geo," Tahoe ordered, his four eyes narrowing with concentration. Officer Geo's tentacles flickered across the control panel. "Second scan confirms, Captain. The energy signature remains unidentified." Tahoe's membrane pulsed with concern. In 30 cycles patrolling the outer reaches, he had never encountered anything like this. According to ancient texts, only one species had ever utilized such distinct energy patterns: humanity. But humans were merely figures from old tales, a supposedly mythical race from a forgotten corner of the galaxy. "Contact Central Command," Tahoe decided. They need to be informed of this discovery. The Galactic Confederation, comprised of 7 advanced species, had long believed themselves to be the only intelligent life forms to achieve interstellar travel. Humanity existed only in legends, cautionary stories of a species that had reached too far and been wiped out in a cataclysmic event millennia ago. Their homeworld's location had been lost to time, and no credible evidence of their existence had ever been found. Until now. The bridge of the Vigilant Observer fell silent as the crew awaited Central Command's response. Tahoe's skin shifted from its normal pale blue to a deeper azure, a sign of tension among his species. The anomalous signal continued to pulse on their screens, like a heartbeat from the past. "Signal strength increasing," reported Navigation Officer Summon, her crystalline form shimmering under the dim lights. "Whatever it is, it's moving toward our position." Tahoe clicked his mandibles. "Display visual range." The main screen switched to long-range sensors, showing only the empty void of space dotted with distant stars. But the energy signature was unmistakable now, growing stronger, more defined. "Central Command responding," announced Communications Officer Kian. A holographic projection materialized in the center of the bridge. Admiral Jinwu's imposing form, a mass of swirling vapor contained within a ceremonial environmental suit, hovered before them. "Captain Tahoe," the Admiral's voice resonated through the ship's speakers. "Your report is troubling. The energy signature you've detected matches theoretical models of human propulsion systems that existed only in ancient archives." "Then you believe it could be?" "I believe nothing," Admiral Jinwu interrupted. "Humanity is a myth, Captain. A story told to young ones about the dangers of unchecked expansion. Your sensors are malfunctioning. Return to base for immediate maintenance." Tahoe's membrane rippled with frustration. "Sir, with all respect, my equipment is functioning perfectly. This signal is real." "Your orders are clear, Captain. Return to base." The hologram disappeared, leaving only the soft hum of the ship's systems and the persistent beeping of the anomalous signal. Officer Geo turned to Tahoe. "Captain." "Setting course for home base." Tahoe remained silent, his 4 eyes fixed on the distant point where the signal originated. Throughout his career, he had followed orders without question. The Confederation had brought peace and stability to the galaxy for 10,000 cycles. Their wisdom was rarely questioned. But something about this dismissal felt wrong. If there was even a small chance that humanity still existed. "Navigation, calculate a course toward that signal," Tahoe finally said. Officer Soman's crystalline structure glowed with surprise. "Captain, that contradicts direct orders." "I'm aware," Tahoe replied. "Log my decision as a navigation exercise to test sensor reliability. We'll approach, confirm it's a malfunction, and then return to base." The crew exchanged glances but began carrying out his orders. The Vigilant Observer changed direction, its engines humming as it moved toward the mysterious signal. "Captain," Security Chief Dongo began, his armored exoskeleton shifting nervously. "If this truly is human, we should prepare defensive measures." Tahoe nodded. "Activate shields but keep weapons powered down." If these are humans, we will not be the ones to initiate hostilities. As the ship traveled closer to the signal source, Officer Jiho's tentacles worked frantically across his console. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual spatial distortions ahead. They match no known natural phenomenon." "On screen," Tahoe ordered. The view screen shifted to show what appeared to be a ripple in the fabric of space itself, a shimmering distortion that bent starlight around its edges. "Magnify," Tahoe commanded. As the image enlarged, gasps echoed across the bridge. Within the distortion was a shape, sleek, metallic, and unmistakably artificial. It was a vessel, unlike any design in Confederation records. Its hull was dark against the stars, marked with unfamiliar symbols, and what appeared to be weapons ports along its sides. "Size comparison," Tahoe asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Approximately 3 times our length, twice our mass," Officer Soman replied. "Power readings are significant." The bridge fell silent as the crew stared at the impossible. A human ship, or at least something that matched all the descriptions from ancient texts. The stuff of legends, appearing before their very sensors. "They haven't detected us yet," Security Chief Dongo noted. "Our approach angle keeps us in the shadow of the nearby asteroid field." Tahoe considered his options carefully. Central Command had dismissed the possibility outright. If he returned now with just sensor readings, they would be explained away as malfunctions or misinterpretations. He needed proof. "Take us closer," he decided. "Passive scans only." The Vigilant Observer glided silently through space, using the asteroid field as cover while approaching the mysterious vessel. As they drew nearer, more details became visible. The ship's design was oddly utilitarian, focused on function rather than the aesthetic harmony valued by Confederation engineers. "I'm detecting communication signals emanating from the vessel," Officer Keyham reported. "They're using frequencies we haven't seen before. The patterns are structured, definitely artificial." "Can you decode any of it?" Tahoe asked. "Working on it," Keyham replied, his appendages moving across his console. "There's something familiar about the mathematical base. It resonates with some of the patterns described in ancient human communication protocols." Tahoe's membrane rippled with excitement and fear. If this truly was a human vessel, it changed everything. All of Confederation history would need re-examination. The myths were real. "Captain," Dongo called out suddenly. "They've altered course. They're heading directly toward us." Tahoe felt his heart quicken. "Have they detected us?" "Uncertain, but their trajectory suggests they are aware of our position." "Hold position," Tahoe ordered. "Maintain passive stance." The bridge crew watched as the massive vessel turned with surprising agility, its engines flaring with that same unusual energy signature they had detected earlier. It was approaching rapidly now, growing larger on their view screen with each passing moment. "Captain," Officer Kean called out, "I'm receiving a direct transmission, in perfect Confederation standard language." Tahoe's membrane paled. "How is that possible?" "Put it through." The speakers crackled for a moment before a clear voice filled the bridge, oddly flat compared to the musical tones of Confederation species, but unmistakably sentient and intelligent. "Confederation vessel, this is Captain Juwu of the United Earth Ship Harbinger. We've been observing your approach. It seems the time for myths and legends has passed. Humanity would like to reintroduce itself to the galaxy. Central Command classifies this as an instrument malfunction," Communications Officer Mayang reported, her crystalline structure reflecting the dim light of the bridge. "They've ordered us to return to standard patrol routes." Captain Tahoe clicked his mandibles in frustration. "I've served on this vessel for 15 cycles. I know the difference between a malfunction and a genuine reading." Despite the direct orders, Tahoe made his decision. "Plot a course to follow that signal. Whatever's out there, I need to see it with my own eyes." The Vigilant Observer tracked the signal to an uncharted binary star system. As they entered the system, The sensors detected a massive vessel of unknown design, sleek, utilitarian, and bearing unfamiliar markings. "Vessel is twice our size," reported Security Chief Do-Yun. "Weapons capability unknown but likely significant based on power readings. Open standard communication channels," Taiho ordered. "All frequencies, all known languages." To the crew's astonishment, the mysterious ship responded almost immediately, with perfect translation in Confederation Common Language. "Confederation vessel, this is Captain Juwu of the United Earth Ship Prometheus *. We come in peace and wish to establish diplomatic relations." A stunned silence fell over the bridge. Humans were real. The silence stretched for several long moments as the crew processed this revelation. Captain Taho's membrane shifted through several colors, from shock white to contemplative blue. "Captain," prompted Officer Soman from the navigation console. "How should we respond?" Taho gathered himself. This was potentially the most significant first contact in Confederation history, with a species thought to exist only in myths. He needed to proceed with both caution and respect. "This is Captain Taho of the Galactic Confederation vessel * Vigilant Observer *. We acknowledge your greeting, Captain Juwu. Your presence is unexpected. Our records indicated that humanity was lost to time." There was a brief pause before the response came. "Lost to time. That's an interesting perspective, Captain Taho. From our view, we simply stepped back from galactic affairs to rebuild. It seems our absence has been misinterpreted." The voice was calm and measured, oddly similar to Confederation standard speech patterns, despite coming from a supposedly mythical species. "Security Chief Do-Yun, analysis of their vessel?" Taho asked quietly. Do-Yun studied his console intently. "Advanced propulsion system, unlike any in our database. Hull composition includes materials we've never encountered. Defensive systems are active but not targeting us. They appear to be maintaining a non-aggressive posture." Taho considered his next move carefully. Central Command had dismissed the very possibility of humanity's existence. He was operating without protocols for this situation. "Captain Juwu, I suggest we establish visual communication to facilitate better understanding." "Agreed," came the prompt reply. "Sending visual link parameters now." The main view screen shifted, and for the first time in recorded Confederation history, a living human appeared before alien eyes. Captain Juwu was smaller than Taho had expected. Her form was bipedal with 2 arms, as the legends described. Her skin was a light brown color, and dark hair framed a face with 2 forward-facing eyes. She wore a dark uniform with unfamiliar insignia on the shoulders. "Greetings, Captain Taho," she said with a slight nod. "I understand our appearance may be somewhat shocking to you." Taho's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of deep thought among his species. "Indeed, Captain Juwu. For countless generations, humanity has existed only in our oldest records. Your species was believed extinct after what our histories call the Great Silence. To find you not only surviving but evidently thriving is revolutionary." Juwu smiled, a gesture that Taho recognized from cross-species communication training as indicating positive intent. "We've been observing Confederation space for some time, Captain. We felt it was finally appropriate to reestablish contact." "Observing?" Security Chief Do-Yun interrupted, his protective instincts triggered. "For how long?" "Long enough to learn your languages and understand your cultural practices," Juwu replied evenly. "We wanted to ensure peaceful contact was possible before revealing ourselves." The implications were enormous. If humans had been watching the Confederation without detection, their technological capabilities must be far more advanced than anticipated. "Captain Juwu," Taho said carefully, "my superiors at Central Command were dismissive of even the possibility of your existence. They ordered me to return to base, classifying our readings of your vessel as equipment malfunction." Juwu's expression changed slightly, another human gesture that Taho couldn't quite interpret. "That's not entirely surprising," she responded. It's often easier to dismiss the unknown than to reconsider established beliefs. Would you be willing to come aboard the Prometheus as our guest? Perhaps with direct evidence, your command will be more receptive. The invitation created an immediate stir among the crew. Officer Mayum's crystalline form pulsed with alarmed light patterns, while Security Chief Doyun's protective plates fully extended. "Captain, I must advise against boarding an unknown vessel," Doyun stated firmly, "especially one belonging to a species known only through legend." "Your concern is noted," Tahoe replied. He turned back to the screen. "Captain Juwu, your invitation is generous but unexpected. Perhaps a more gradual approach to contact would be appropriate." "Of course," Juwu nodded. "We understand the need for caution. Would you be comfortable with a small delegation from the Prometheus visiting your vessel instead? Or perhaps a neutral meeting point?" Before Tahoe could respond, a new alert sounded from Officer Soman's station. "Captain, 3 Confederation vessels just entered the system. They're approaching at maximum speed. Combat formation." Tahoe's membrane flashed with alarm. "Identify." "Battle Group Swift Justice Admiral Hannah commanding. They're hailing us and the human vessel." The screen split to show Admiral Hannah's stern visage. Her gelatinous form pulsed with the red hues of battle readiness. "Captain Tahoe, you have directly violated orders. Fall back immediately. We will handle this situation." Tahoe felt cold dread spread through his body. "Admiral, with respect, first contact has already been established peacefully. The humans pose no immediate threat." "That is not your determination to make, Captain," Admiral Hannah cut him off. "The appearance of a mythological species with advanced technology is a security matter for the highest levels of command." On the other half of the screen, Captain Juwu remained calm, though Tahoe noticed increased activity in the background of her bridge. "Admiral Hannah," Juwu spoke directly, "we understand your caution. Humanity remembers the importance of first contact protocols. We come with peaceful intent, seeking only to reestablish diplomatic relations after our long absence. An absence so complete that your existence became legend." Admiral Hannah replied coolly. "Yet you return with vessels of obvious military capability. You will power down your systems and prepare for boarding." Tahoe watched in horror as the diplomatic exchange deteriorated. "Admiral, I strongly advise against aggressive actions." "Your advice is neither requested nor required, Captain," Hannah snapped. "You are ordered to withdraw immediately." On the screen, Captain Juwu's expression had hardened slightly. "Admiral, we will not power down our systems or submit to boarding. However, we remain open to peaceful dialogue." "You are in Confederation space without authorization," Admiral Hannah stated. "Compliance is not optional." Tahoe noticed the human crew on their bridge moving with practiced efficiency, not panicked, but certainly preparing for possible conflict. "Admiral," Tahoe tried once more, "these humans have shown no hostility. They responded to our hails in our own language. They seek diplomatic contact." Last warning, Admiral Hannah addressed the human captain, ignoring Tahoe completely. "Power down, or we will take action." Captain Juwu sighed, a gesture that somehow translated across species barriers as resignation. "Admiral Hannah of the Galactic Confederation, I must inform you that the United Earth ship Prometheus is a diplomatic vessel under the protection of the Human Alliance. Any aggressive action will be met with appropriate response." As if on cue, new alerts sounded across the Vigilant Observer's bridge. "Captain," Officer Soman called out with shock evident in her voice. Multiple new signatures appearing throughout the system. They were cloaked somehow. Our sensors never detected them. The tactical display now showed over a dozen human vessels of various sizes, all previously hidden from Confederation sensors, now revealing themselves in strategic positions throughout the binary system. Admiral Hannah's gelatinous form rippled with shock. The battle group that had appeared so formidable moments before was now clearly outmatched and surrounded. This was our attempt at a gradual, peaceful reintroduction, Captain Juwu explained calmly. We hoped to establish contact through a single vessel before revealing our full presence. Captain Taiho understood the proper approach. Perhaps now you might reconsider the value of diplomatic discussion. Admiral Hanna's form had shifted to the pale yellow of uncertainty. This development will need to be reported to the Confederation Council. We would welcome such communication, Juwu replied. In the meantime, perhaps Captain Tahoe might continue as our liaison. He has already demonstrated both wisdom and diplomatic skill. All eyes turned to Tahoe, whose membrane had settled into a deep blue of serious contemplation. In a single day, he had discovered that humanity was real, made first contact, and now found himself at the center of what would certainly be the most significant diplomatic event in Confederation history. The myths had returned, and nothing would be the same again. The meeting chamber aboard the UES Prometheus was maintained at environmental conditions comfortable for both species. Captain Tahoe and his diplomatic officer, Minja, represented the Confederation, while Captain Juwu and Science Director Hiren welcomed them. For centuries, we believed humans were merely legends, Tahoe admitted, his translator converting his clicks and whistles into human language. Captain Juwu smiled. And we had no idea we'd become mythical beings. After the Great Retreat, we needed time to rebuild in isolation. Tahoe was astonished by human physiology, their remarkable endurance, adaptability to various environments, and surprisingly advanced technology. The humans seemed equally fascinated by Confederation species and culture. During the tour of the vessel, Security Chief Doyun noticed something concerning. This ship's weapon systems are far more advanced than anticipated, he whispered to Tahoe. Later, Science Director Hiren revealed the truth. The Prometheus is merely a scout vessel. Our fleet numbers in the thousands, patrolling the edges of known space for generations. We've been observing the Confederation for decades before deciding to make contact. Tahoe's membrane darkened with concern. You've been watching us. We needed to be certain it was safe to return, Captain Juwu explained. The last time we engaged with alien life, it nearly led to our extinction. The revelation hung in the air between them. Tahoe's 4 eyes blinked in sequence as he processed this information. His membrane shifted to a deep blue, indicating serious contemplation. You feared us? He asked finally. Captain Juwu gestured to a nearby seating area where chairs had been adjusted to accommodate Tahoe's unique physiology. Not you specifically, Captain. Experience has taught us caution. As they settled into their seats, Science Director Hiren activated a holographic display in the center of the room. A 3-dimensional star map appeared, showing both Confederation space and regions beyond its borders. 500 years ago, humanity expanded rapidly, Hiren explained. Her short black hair framed a face that remained neutral as she spoke of ancient tragedy. We established colonies on dozens of worlds across this region. Her hand waved through the hologram, highlighting an area of space far from current Confederation territory. We encountered many species, she continued. Most interactions were peaceful, but one. She paused, her expression darkening. One was not. The hologram shifted to show strange ships with organic-looking hulls, moving in swarm patterns. We called them the Harvesters. They viewed all other life as resources to be consumed. Their technology was unlike anything we had seen. They struck without warning or communication. Captain Juwu picked up the narrative. We lost 23 colony worlds in the first year alone. Billions of lives. Earth itself was attacked 3 times. Tahoe's membrane paled. How did you survive? Barely, Juwu answered. We abandoned our colonies and retreated to a handful of hidden systems. We developed new technologies, new ways of fighting. Eventually, we drove them back, but at terrible cost. After the war, we made a decision to remain hidden while we rebuilt. Diplomatic Officer Minje, who had remained silent until now, leaned forward, her elongated limbs folded carefully as she addressed the humans. "Your story is tragic, Captain Juwu, but it doesn't explain why you've been observing us without making contact." Science Director Hiren nodded. "A fair question. The harvesters were not destroyed, merely driven back. We've been monitoring their movements for centuries. 10 years ago, our deep space probes detected signs of their return." A hologram shifted again, showing the path of an unknown force moving slowly but steadily toward Confederation space. "While tracking them, we discovered your civilization," Hiren explained. "The Confederation had expanded into regions unknown to us during our isolation. We needed to understand what kind of neighbors you would be." Security Chief Do Yun's protective plates shifted in agitation. "So you spied on us." "We observed," Captain Juwu corrected gently. "We studied your languages, your customs, your technology. We needed to know if you would be potential allies, or if you would react like the Jarkan hegemony did when we warned them of the harvester threat." "The Jarkan?" Tahoe inquired. "A species from the Outer Rim," Juwu explained. "When we tried to warn them about the harvesters 50 years ago, they attacked our envoys. They believed we were attempting to trick them into weakening their borders." Captain Tahoe's membrane rippled with understanding. "And the harvesters destroyed them." "Yes," Hiren confirmed solemnly. "Their entire civilization, gone in less than a standard year." The chamber fell silent as the Confederation officers absorbed this information. Tahoe studied the humans carefully. Their expressions were difficult to read with only 2 eyes and minimal skin color changes, but he sensed genuine concern in their voices. "You mentioned your fleet," Do Yun said, breaking the silence. "During our tour, I noticed weapon systems unlike anything in Confederation records." Captain Juwu nodded. "The Harvester War forced rapid technological development. We had to adapt or die." "May I ask a personal question?" Tahoe inquired. Juwu inclined her head. "Of course. The legends of humans in our archives describe your species as fragile but remarkably adaptive. During our brief interaction, I've noticed your comfort in environments that would be challenging for most Confederation species. Is this accurate?" For the first time, Science Director Hiren smiled. "In some ways, yes. Physically, we lack natural defenses. We don't have protective plates like Security Chief Do Yun, or the ability to change our skin composition like you, Captain. But we evolved on a world with extreme environmental variations. Our bodies can adapt to a wide range of conditions." To demonstrate, she walked to a control panel and adjusted the room's temperature. The air grew noticeably warmer, enough that Minji's elongated limbs began to curl protectively. "This temperature would be uncomfortable for most species over extended periods," Hiren noted, "but humans can function normally. Similarly, we can adapt to cold, different gravity levels and various atmospheric compositions." "Fascinating," Minji commented, even as she signaled her discomfort. Hiren quickly returned the temperature to its previous setting. "Sorry for the demonstration. The point is, what we lack in natural defenses, we make up for in adaptability." "And determination," added Captain Juwu. "When the harvesters attacked, humanity united as never before. Old conflicts were set aside. We survived because we refused not to." Tahoe considered this. The legends of humanity in Confederation archives often emphasize their persistence in the face of challenges. It seemed the myths contained more truth than they had realized. "Captain Juwu," he said finally, "your revelations are significant. The Confederation Council will need to know about the harvester threat and humanity's return." "We understand," Juwu replied. "That's why we chose to make contact now. According to our calculations, the harvesters will reach Confederation space within 3 years. Alone, neither of our civilizations may be able to stop them. Together, we might have a chance." "You're proposing an alliance?" Do Yun asked, his protective instincts clearly triggered. "We're proposing survival," corrected Hiren. The harvesters don't negotiate or show mercy. They consume and move on. Captain Tahoe's membrane shifted through several colors as he weighed the implications. If what the humans said was true, the Confederation faced an existential threat. Yet how would the Council respond to the sudden appearance of a mythical species bearing warnings of doom? Before I report to my superiors, Tahoe said carefully, I would like to understand more about human culture and society. If we are to consider alliance, we should know each other better. Captain Juwu nodded. A wise approach. Perhaps you would honor us by sharing a meal. Breaking bread together is an ancient human tradition for building trust. Breaking bread? Minjay inquired. Sharing food, Hyaron explained. Though we've prepared nutrition compatible with your biological needs, of course. As they moved toward the dining area, Tahoe noticed how efficiently the human crew operated. Their movements were practiced, their technology integrated seamlessly with their environment. This was not a civilization that had barely survived extinction. This was a species that had transformed itself through adversity. The myths had called humans resourceful and tenacious. Looking at the evidence around him, Tahoe realized the ancient stories might have understated the reality. And soon, the Confederation would need to decide if these returned legends would be treated as friends or foes. Either way, the galaxy would never be the same again. News of humanity's existence spread rapidly through Confederation space. The High Council convened an emergency session, with Captain Tahoe testifying via quantum transmission. Some species view the humans with wonder, others with suspicion, explained Counselor Sunwoo, her bioluminescent appendages flashing with agitation. The military command advocates immediate containment of what they perceive as a potential threat. That would be disastrous, Tahoe warned. Their technological capabilities exceed our own. His warning came too late. Admiral Juno, commanding the battle group Resolute Defender launched an unauthorized attack on a human outpost at the edge of the Arcturus sector. The human response was swift and devastating. Within hours, the entire battle group was disabled, not destroyed, but rendered completely inoperative with precision strikes that demonstrated combat capabilities far beyond Confederation technology. This is Captain Juwu of the UES Prometheus to all Confederation vessels. We have no desire for conflict, but we will defend ourselves. Captain Tahoe, we request your assistance as mediator before this situation escalates further. Tahoe found himself caught between loyalties, trying to prevent full-scale war, while also protecting his own people from what could be an existential threat. The emergency meeting chamber of the Vigilant Observer buzzed with tension. Captain Tahoe's membrane had been locked in a deep purple shade for hours, the color of extreme stress among his species. Before him, two holographic projections flickered. On one side, the High Council of the Confederation represented by Elder Sunwoo. On the other, Captain Juwu aboard the Prometheus *. Admiral Juno acted without authorization. Elder Sunwoo insisted, her bioluminescent tendrils pulsing with agitation. The Council did not approve military action against the human outpost. Yet it happened. Captain Juwu responded, her voice calm but firm. 5 of our science vessels were attacked without warning or provocation. If we had not anticipated such a reaction, the loss of life would have been significant. Tahoe had received the reports from both sides. Admiral Chuno's battle group had launched what they called a preventive security operation against a cluster of human vessels near the Arcturus star. The humans, apparently anticipating such a response, had deployed defensive measures that shut down all major systems on the Confederation ships without causing physical damage to the vessels or harming their crews. The technology they used, Security Chief Do-Yun whispered to Tahoe, "It's like nothing we've ever seen. They didn't fire conventional weapons. They simply turned our ships off. We need to understand," Elder Sunwoo addressed Captain Juwu, "that your sudden appearance after being considered mythological for generations has created significant anxiety among our people. Admiral Chunho's actions, while unsanctioned, reflect genuine security concerns. We understand fear, Ju replied, but attacking those who come bearing warnings of a greater threat is not rational. Tahoe stepped forward. Elder Sunwoo, I have spent more time with the humans than any other Confederation citizen. Their warnings about the harvesters appear genuine. The data they shared matches anomalies our own deep space observatories have detected but couldn't identify. Convenient, came a new voice. Admiral Chono had joined the transmission, his scaled face showing no remorse for his actions. They appear with advanced weapons and tales of mythical enemies approaching our borders. The oldest trick in military strategy, create a common enemy to force an alliance. Admiral, Tahoe said firmly, I've seen their historical records. The harvester threat is real. You've seen what they chose to show you, Juno countered. Captain Ju's expression remained neutral, but Tahoe noticed a subtle tension in her posture. Admiral Juno, your ships and crews remain unharmed. We could have responded with lethal force, but chose not to. Is that the action of an aggressive species? It's the action of a species demonstrating power, Juno replied. A warning shot. The debate continued for hours. Tahoe noticed the shifting alliances among the council members, the science representatives fascinated by humanity's return, the military faction suspicious, the diplomatic corps cautiously optimistic about new relations. Finally, Elder Sunwoo raised her luminescent appendages for silence. The council requires time to deliberate. Captain Tahoe, you will continue as our primary contact with the humans. Admiral Juno, your ships will be recovered and you will return to Confederation space immediately. No further military action is authorized. As the transmission ended, leaving only Captain Ju's hologram in the chamber, Tahoe's membrane finally shifted from purple stress to a more balanced blue. Captain Ju, I apologize for Admiral Chuno's actions. The Council is taking this seriously. Time is a luxury we may not have, Ju replied. Our long-range sensors indicate the Harvester Vanguard is moving faster than we initially calculated. We may have less than 2 standard years before they reach Confederation space. Before Tahoe could respond, Officer Mayung burst into the chamber. Captain. Emergency transmission from Central Command. Multiple unidentified vessels have appeared at the edge of the Proxima sector. They match no known configuration in our database. Tahoe felt his heart's freeze. The harvesters. Unknown, sir, but they're not responding to hails and are moving toward the Proxima colony. On the hologram, Captain Ju's expression shifted to alarm. Proxima sector. Can you transmit the sensor readings to the Prometheus *? Tahoe nodded to Mayang, who quickly established the data link. As the information transferred, Ju's face grew increasingly grim. Captain Tahoe, those are not harvester ships. They're scout vessels from the Krell Dominion, mercenaries who often precede harvester arrivals. They locate suitable worlds and sell the information to the harvesters. You're familiar with them? Tahoe asked. All too familiar. They betrayed 3 of our colony worlds during the war. Ju turned to speak to someone off-screen, issuing rapid orders. When she faced Tahoe again, her expression was resolute. The Prometheus and 2 companion vessels can reach Proxima before they do. With your permission, we'll intercept them. Tahoe hesitated. The political situation was already fragile. If human warships entered Confederation space uninvited, especially near a populated colony world. Captain, Ju said urgently, the Krell don't take prisoners or leave survivors. Proxima colony has 20,000 inhabitants? 22,000. Tahoe confirmed, mostly scientists and their families. If the Krell reach them first, there won't be anyone left to rescue. Tahoe made his decision. Go. I'll inform the Council and take full responsibility. As Ju's hologram disappeared, Security Chief Doyun approached Tahoe. Captain, you just authorized an alien military force to enter Confederation space. The Council might view this as treason. Then they can execute me after we save Proxima colony. Taiho replied, his membrane shifting to a determined orange hue. Set course to follow the human vessels. Maximum speed. The next 12 hours were the longest of Taiho's life. As the Vigilant Observer raced toward Proxima, reports flooded in. The Krell vessels had accelerated, clearly intent on reaching the colony before defenders could arrive. The Council had sent their own battle group, but they were too far away to intercept in time. When the Vigilant Observer finally arrived at Proxima, the scene before them was chaos. The Krell ships, 7 in total, had formed an attack pattern around the colony's orbital station, but between them and their target hovered 3 human vessels, including the Prometheus *. Status report. Taiho demanded as they entered the system. Human vessels are engaging the Krell, Officer Soman reported. They appear to be protecting the colony. On the main screen, Taiho watched as the human ships moved with incredible precision. Their weapons were unlike anything he had seen before, beams of blue energy that sliced through Krell shields as if they weren't there. Open communication with the Prometheus *, Taiho ordered. When the channel opened, instead of Captain Juwu's face, they saw only the interior of the human ship's bridge. The crew was in combat positions, moving with practiced efficiency. Juwu's voice came through, tight with concentration. A little busy right now, Captain Taiho. The Krell had friends waiting in the outer system. 12 ships total. Can we assist? Taiho asked. Negative. Your weapons would be ineffective against their shields. Just keep the colony evacuated. These Krell are more desperate than usual. They might attempt a surface landing. As Taiho watched, 3 of the Krell vessels broke formation, heading toward the planet's surface. Captain Juwu. 3 ships air. We see them. Hana, Jun, take care of those runners. 2 smaller human vessels peeled away from the main battle, intercepting the Krell ships with impossible speed. Within moments, 2 of the Krell vessels were disabled, drifting powerless. But the third slipped through, diving toward the colony below. They're going to make landfall. Security Chief Doyun shouted. On the communication channel, Captain Juwu's voice remained steady. Captain Taiho, we can't reach that ship in time. If you have any ground defenses at the colony, activate them now. Taiho's membrane paled. Proxima is a research colony. They have minimal defenses. There was a pause on the human end. Then, understood. Stand by. Moments later, a smaller craft launched from the Prometheus *, streaking toward the planet's surface like a bullet. What are they doing? Do-Yun wondered. I don't know, Taiho admitted. Within minutes, the situation in orbit had changed dramatically. 5 of the Krell ships were now drifting, disabled by the human weapons. The remaining 4 had retreated to the system's edge. Captain, Officer Mayan called out. Transmission from the colony surface. The screen shifted to show the colony's main plaza. Bodies of strange, insectoid creatures lay scattered across the ground. Among them stood a dozen humans in dark armor, weapons at the ready. At their center was a woman Taiho recognized as Science Director Hyarin. This is Hyarin. Krell ground force neutralized. Colony secure. No civilian casualties. Taiho's membrane rippled with shock. The humans had not only defeated a superior force in space, but had also managed to deploy ground troops in time to save the colony. As the Confederation battle group finally arrived hours later, the political landscape had shifted completely. The humans were no longer mysterious potential threats. They were the saviors of Proxima colony. The Council's emergency session now had a very different tone. The Grand Council chamber on the Confederation capital World Harmonium was filled to capacity. Representatives from all 7 member species faced the first human delegation in recorded history. Captain Taiho stood beside Captain Juwu, serving as intermediary in this historic meeting. We understand your caution. Juwu addressed the council. But there's something you need to know about why we retreated from known space centuries ago. The human activated a holographic display showing a massive swarm of biomechanical entities moving through space. We call them the Devourers. They nearly destroyed humanity 500 years ago. We've been rebuilding, preparing, and monitoring their movements ever since. Science Director Hiron stepped forward. Our long-range scouts have detected Devourer activity at the edge of Confederation space. Based on their patterns, they'll reach your core worlds within 3 years. The council chamber erupted in chaos until High Elder Yuno raised his weathered appendages for silence. If what you say is true, why should we trust you? Perhaps this is merely a ploy to force an alliance. Captain Juwu nodded to one of her officers, who transferred a data package to the Confederation systems. These are coordinates to one of our forward observation posts. Send your own scientists. Verify our claims independently. 2 weeks later, the verification team returned, their findings confirming humanity's warning. The threat was real and imminent. The formal recognition of humanity by the Galactic Confederation was held aboard the UES Prometheus *. Captain Taiho, once skeptical of old tales, became the official liaison between the Confederation and humanity, a bridge between myth and reality. To think, Taiho remarked to Captain Juwu as they watched the ceremonial signing, that the mythical humans would return just when we needed them most. Juwu's expression grew solemn. The real battle is still to come, but together we stand a chance. As the two captains looked out at the stars, both knew that the greatest challenge for both their peoples lay ahead, but for the first time in centuries, neither civilization would face it alone. The Great Hall of Harmonium glowed with the light of 1,000 floating orbs. The 7 species of the Confederation had gathered in numbers not seen since the founding compact 3,000 cycles ago. In the center of the hall, Captain Taiho stood next to Captain Juwu, feeling the weight of history upon them. The human delegation was small, just 5 representatives, but their presence filled the chamber with whispers and stares. Many Confederation citizens had traveled for days just to glimpse the legendary humans with their own sensory organs. High Elder Yunho floated forward, his ancient body supported by a gravity field. His voice, amplified by the chamber's acoustics, silenced the crowd. For 10,000 cycles, the Confederation has stood as the beacon of civilization in this galaxy. We have faced challenges, overcome obstacles, and grown stronger together. The elders' weathered appendages gestured toward the human delegation. Today, we face the return of a species long thought lost to time. And with them comes a warning. Captain Juwu stepped forward. Though smaller than many of the alien representatives, her presence commanded attention. She wore a formal uniform of deep blue with silver trim, the emblem of Earth prominently displayed. Honored representatives of the Confederation, she began, her voice clear and steady. Humanity thanks you for this audience. For centuries, we have existed in the shadows of known space, rebuilding what was nearly destroyed. We did not know we had become the stuff of legend in your histories. A murmur passed through the crowd. Captain Taiho watched as his fellow Confederation citizens reacted with everything from wonder to suspicion. The Arbalans, with their crystalline forms, sparkled with excitement. The Viridian representatives kept their protective plates tightly closed, a sign of distrust. We understand your caution, Juwu continued, but there's something you need to know about why we retreated from known space centuries ago. At her signal, Science Director Hiron activated a holographic projector. Above the central platform, a massive 3-dimensional image appeared. A swarm of strange biomechanical entities moving through space like a plague of locusts. Their ships, if they could be called that, resembled massive insects with mechanical components grafted onto organic bodies. We call them the Devourers, Juwu explained. 500 years ago, they entered our region of space and began consuming everything in their path. Planets, moons, asteroids, space stations, ships. They don't negotiate. They don't communicate. They simply consume and move on. The hologram shifted to show images that made even the most stoic council members recoil, worlds being systematically stripped of resources, massive harvesting machines descending on populated areas. They nearly destroyed humanity, Ju continued, her voice now softer but still carrying throughout the hall. We lost billions. Earth itself was attacked 3 times. We were forced to abandon our colonies and retreat to hidden systems where we could rebuild in secret. Science Director Hyaron stepped forward. Unlike Captain Juu's formal demeanor, Hyaron moved with the casual confidence of a scientist used to presenting difficult data. For centuries, we've been monitoring the Devourer's movements, she explained, adjusting the hologram to show a map of the galaxy with a red mass slowly moving along one spiral arm. 2 years ago, our long-range scouts detected increased Devourer activity at the edge of what we now know is Confederation space. She zoomed in on the map, highlighting specific star systems along the Confederation's outer territories. Based on their patterns and velocity, they'll reach your core worlds within 3 years. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives shouted questions, demands, and accusations. Some called for immediate military mobilization, others for evacuation plans. A few even suggested the humans themselves might be the true threat. High Elder Yuno raised his weathered appendages for silence. Unlike younger members of his species, the Elder's appendages had grown long and translucent with age, giving him an almost mystical appearance as he floated above the platform. Silence. His voice boomed, bringing immediate order to the chamber. When quiet had returned, he turned his primary sensory cluster toward Captain Ju. If what you say is true, why should we trust you? Perhaps this is merely a ploy to force an alliance. Your ships appeared suddenly, with technology beyond our own. You disabled an entire battle group without casualties. A demonstration of power, perhaps. The question hung in the air. Captain Tahoe's membrane shifted to a nervous yellow hue. This was the central question that had dominated council debates since humanity's arrival. Captain Ju showed no offense at the accusation. Instead, she nodded to one of her officers, a tall man with dark skin who stepped forward with a data crystal. These are coordinates to one of our forward observation posts near the Devourer advance, she explained as the officer transferred the data to the Confederation systems. Send your own scientists. Verify our claims independently. See the threat with your own eyes. High Elder Yuno studied the human captain for a long moment. And if we find your claims to be false, then you will have lost nothing but time, Ju replied simply. But if we're right, and you delay preparation, you will lose everything. The verification mission departed that same day. A team of the Confederation's most respected scientists aboard their fastest exploration vessel. Captain Tahoe was chosen to lead the mission, with Security Chief Do-Yun insisting on accompanying them for protection. 2 weeks later, they returned to Harmonium. The Great Hall fell completely silent as Captain Tahoe took the central platform. His membrane had settled into a deep blue, the color of solemn truth. The human data is accurate, he announced, his voice heavy. We observed the Devourer fleet from a safe distance. Their numbers are vast, their technology unlike anything in our records. We watched as they consumed an uninhabited system, breaking down entire planets into raw materials within days. He activated his own holographic display, showing the Confederation's independent scans of the Devourer fleet. They will reach our outer colonies in approximately 32 months. Their path brings them directly through our most populated systems. The formal recognition of humanity by the Galactic Confederation took place 3 days later. After 10,000 years of isolation, an 8th species was officially welcomed into the alliance. The ceremony, held aboard the UES Prometheus was broadcast throughout Confederation space. Captain Tahoe, who had once dismissed humanity as mere legend, was appointed as the official liaison between the Confederation and the human government, a bridge between myth and reality. After the ceremony, Tahoe found Captain Ju standing by a viewport, looking out at the stars. The Earth ships and Confederation vessels now floated side by side in space, a sight that would have been unimaginable just months earlier. To think, Tahoe remarked as he joined her, that the mythical humans would return just when we needed them most. Juhu's expression grew solemn. The real battle is still to come. The devourers we've detected are just the vanguard. Their main fleet is far larger. But now we face them together, Tahoe said, his membrane shifting to a resolved orange hue. Already, our engineers are studying your defensive technologies. Our scientists are combining their knowledge with yours. It may not be enough, Juhu admitted. The devourers adapt quickly. Then we must adapt faster, Tahoe replied. Your legends in our archives spoke of human persistence, of a species that refused to surrender even when victory seemed impossible. For the first time that day, Captain Juhu smiled, and our records spoke of the Confederation's unity. 7 different species working as one despite their differences. Perhaps together, we can achieve what neither of us could alone. As the two captains looked out at the stars, both knew that the greatest challenge for both their peoples lay ahead, but for the first time in centuries, neither civilization would face it alone. The end.